Hello and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to a brand new video. And this week on the old turntable magic roundabout, we have a Dinky Toys Rover 75 P4 Cyclops. You heard it, P4 75 Rover Cyclops. Around about the 1950s, these cars are made in England. So we'll get off the magic roundabout and we'll have a bloody good look at it and see what we're going to do with it. And as you're watching this go round, as usual, I'd like to welcome all my new subscribers. How are we all doing? Thanks for jumping on board. And welcome back to my old subscribers, old faithfuls. Nice to see you. There we go. Okay then, here we have it. You see it on the bottom there, Rover 75. Meccano, England, Dinky. Bit rusty base in places. Bit bent in there. You straighten that out a little bit, just that area behind the back axle. And you can see it's been overpainted. This was cream. I think Dinky did this in about 3 or 4 different colours. I'm going to put this as a solid colour, not a two-tone, because I've got a colour in mind, like a grey, probably a light grey, medium grey, something like that. Now this was called the P4 75 Rover Cyclops. Cyclops because it's got that is a light in the front there. I think they were trying to mimic the Studebaker, because it's got a nice sloping back end like a Studi. This is a pre-runner of the later version of the Rover 90, which was commonly called in this country Auntie Rover. So what have we got? Rusty base, worn tyres, overpainted. So we're going to drill this out and we'll have a look at it. You can see that light at the front there. That was a centre light with chrome coming across there, down there, like a star, you can almost say, in the middle. And these headlights were a squarish. I say squarish. Dinky didn't do them very square, but yeah, they were squarish. Bright chrome with a light in the middle. The grille was painted, the body colour. And the back, I can't make out much. There's not much detail on the back. There's a little bit where the number plate was, but we'll probably see better when we've got it cleaned up. So, quite small rivets, but we'll sort that out. No bent axles. You can see the cream colour there and behind the back of the wheels there. Okay, we'll get this drilled out and we'll get back to you. No interior, no glass. That's it drilled out. Straightforward drilling process, nothing too special. I use 2.5mm drill. So I'll put my rivets in there and I'll keep my drill bits, special drill bits for these in here, so I don't get mixed up with anything else. I need some more rivets, by the way, there's a few in there. So I'll just keep that in there. Okay. Right, here we go. Yeah, so I took this off. It was a bit bent in places, so basically once you release the rivets, it comes out basically from that end. There's no tag or anything, it just comes out, but it's easy to take it out backwards and pull it. Okay. Axle at the front just comes out. No mucking about there. As you can see the colour, what it was inside. I've drilled the posts out. Or normally, when you flatten out the rivet or the spigot or what they like to call it, I usually file it down to the shoulder. Okay. I put a pilot hole in, I file it down to the shoulder. I find that easier. It's better metal, because these go like fat to thin and then they peen over. So they're all drilled out, ready to go. The plate was a bit bent in places. As you can see, it's very rusty, and I'd say it's quite flimsy. It's got a bit of a curve there, but that actually goes in and around there, so it fits in around there. Look, you can see, look, fits in along there. That's why it appears to be a little bit bent. That's because of that. I did have to just pull the back out a little bit here. It was a bit kinked there. Done that. So really, it's ready for the stripper. So this, I'm going to pop it in. You can't really see it from there, but that's my old stripper. I use this when I haven't got any caustic soda. So we're going to drop that in there. Here it goes. Boom, 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 boom. In the bog it goes. And I'll leave this in overnight. Bum, bada, bum, it's going. Here it goes. Any minute now. Any minute now. Get in there. That's it. Swallowed up in the sands of time. Right, that's in. We'll get the tires off because I'm going to chuck these axles in. Yeah, these will do for spares, I suppose. They're supposed to be 15mm smooths, and these are treaded. So it's always had a tire change at some point. Right. See, that's the original tyre, the smooth. 15mm smooth. You can see the difference, look. That's a treaded and that's a smooth. Right, okay, so that'll do for spares. Right, we'll chuck this in now. Put that in, that should just drop in. I'm not putting that in because if I put that in, I'll never get it out because I'll probably flipping lose it. So I'll just, oh God, it's tight. I'll just get some out on a brush and brush that out. Okay. Or I might stick a bit of wire on it and chuck it in. That's it then. Catch you in a bit. Right, clean up time. Yeah, there's a lot of paint on here. About four loads of paint. There's original cream. Then there was a red here. Then there was a black, and that black was horrible. It was the same what was on the hubs somewhere. It was a horrible black. And then the cream again. So it took some cleaning off. So we got to this stage. So we're going to give it I'll get the old wizard on it and give it a go. See what we come up with. Well, I won't be in here very long because my gas fire's just gone out. Well, it's just going out anyway. It's popping. So it's gonna get cold. So lucky I'm not painting. So it's going to want a bit of a clean up. I'll get this off and then I'll go around with a pick and get any more off. Where there's no paint, it's coming off okay. Coming up clean. Quite thick paint on it. It was quite thick. I was saying so over painting, but this was quite thick. The black paint, I don't know what it used for black paint, but it was bloody awful. It made a rotten mess. Yeah, that looks a bit better. Yeah. Well, for any newcomers to the hobby, this is the stage that you really don't want to skip. You want to pay attention to it, get it as clean as you can. This is the stage you want to get any blemishes out, any holes to fill, any bumps to file off, any casting lines you want rid of. This is the time to do it. You know, on these 143 scales, you do need to spend a bit of time. It's not a quick job. You know, you want to get it as nice as you can, because once you prime it, you can see more blemishes, obviously. And a lot of these older castings are going to have pit marks in them all over. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could fill them all, but it would take you a long time. I mean, you can just see on the roof there, if I get as close as I can, look, you see little pit marks in there. If you were inclined, you could rub a skimmer filler on them, but you know, a lot of the time some of the primer fill that in. So this is the time to, like I say, inspect the body, do any alterations that you want, any clean-ups around the windows, doors. Take your time on this bit, because preparation is the key to any good paint job. Some people use different materials, some people use wet and dries, sandpaper, sanding sticks. You can use what you want to achieve the aim of getting a nice smooth surface to paint on. That's what the aim is. Let's have a look at the grill. So I'll get in and out of this grill here. Have a proper look at it. I was saying the other day, when I did the coach last week, that Dinky had some really nice casting lines on their vehicle, casting, you know, details. But the thing is, they went to great expense and great talent to produce these details. But unfortunately, especially with the coach, you've got the lines and the little details. Just look, for instance, let me just turn this off a second, and explain to you what I mean. Around the headlights, there you see, where it's all chewed up. There, look. Fine detail, because it's just a little bit of a raised lip around that headlight. But because it's been bashed around with other cars and vehicles, things dropped on it, this is the detail what gets damaged. And invariably you will see that when the paint is being put on. And it's not the sort of thing you want to try and fill, because it's going to be very awkward to fill that, to make it look right. Sometimes you could probably make it look worse. So I tend to just run a file over them, get them as smooth as I can. And I don't think you can see that, and get a bit closer. Yeah, you see what I mean? You see it there now, look. There. Along that edge there. Get battered, same as that side. They get flattened down, where they've been head-on collisions and so on and so forth. So this is the things you get with these sort of castings. Not so much on the sides, but around windows where you get that they've put a nice little lip round there. You know, when new, fantastic, but after it's got a bashing, it looks bent. If you can hear a popping in the background, that's my fire going out. So, which is a good thing, because I've got to go out and get a new bottle tomorrow. But there's no gauge on the side, tells you it's nearly empty, but I had a feeling it was going. So anyway, this is the front. So we're looking at. I've got some more paint to get out of there. So as you can see, that's the detail. There's a bit of detail on the back. So I'm going to carry on with this, get this all cleaned up, and we'll get some primer on it. Okay? That's it. All cleaned up, polished up. Best I can get it. I spent a bit of time, extra time on the roof, get some of that pitting out. 2 casting lines, one there and one there. Got that out. That's about it really. Oh yeah, went round and smoothed the bumpers best I could. Right, if you watched it so far and you're still with me, do us a favour, think about it. You're a salesman in the 50s, early 50s, trying to sell this car to the customer. Joe Bloggs in the street. Now, bearing in mind in the 50s, we had Roswell and we had everything else going on about aliens and War of Worlds and all that sort of stuff. Now, you're trying to sell this to Joe Bloggs in the street, and it's a Cyclops. How would you go about selling this or persuading somebody to buy a car called a Cyclops in the 50s? Yeah? How would you promote it? Yeah, just for a laugh. You know, I mean, it's an odd-looking configuration. I don't know if I'd like to drive it with 3 lights in the front. It could be a bit confusing, especially for the rabbits. I mean, rabbits, they normally got the hang of 2 headlights. They can stand in the middle and whomp, over the top, no problem. But you stick a 3rd light in, oh my God, they ain't got a clue. They'll be all over the place. So, think about it. Put it in the comments. How would you sell this car, a Rover 75 P4 Cyclops, to Joe Bloggs in the street? Yeah, just for a laugh. And we'll see what we come up with. Right, okay, that being said, it's going to get cleaned with methylated spirits. You can either use methylated spirits or acetone or whatever, you know, a degreaser of some sorts. It's always best to do that because you get greasy marks on it and muck all over it. So it's just best to give it a wipe over. I use methylated spirits. It's, you know, it works for me. And it evaporates quite quickly. So that's not so bad. So we'll get it primed. We'll get the colour on it. And we'll get it lacquered. And the next time you'll see it, it'll be ready for the details. Okay? See you then. Detail painting time. Right, I've gone ahead and done the front bumper. Okay. So, I will show you a bit more. We'll do a little bit more on here. We'll do the headlights. Oh yeah, we'll just do them nicely. This is a Vallejo metal colour I'm using because my paint hasn't arrived yet through the post. So I'm using this. It's a bit thin, so in some cases it needs 2 coats. But I've let it sit on a pallet for a while to thicken up. So that's what we're using at the minute. Right, a little bit of you know, the other day I was telling you that this looked like a Studebaker. Well, apparently Rover bought 2 Studebakers. 1947, they bought 2 Studebakers. And they chopped and changed and messed about with them. And they were affectionately known as Rover Bakers hybrid. And that's, I didn't know that at the time when I was telling you the other day. This is what I found on Wikipedia. And they produced these cars, the Cyclops, from 1949 to 1952. And then this light didn't catch on, which I wouldn't think it did. And they dropped it and changed the front grille. So, this is partly Studebaker. So there you go, now you know. Had a straight 6 engine, chucking out about 2.1 litres. 0 to 60, believe this, 0 to 60, 21.6 seconds. I've had a few cars like that. Quite small lights on the front. I'll tell you. Yeah. This was the first Rover, well, in fact, the only Rover they had at the time, which came away from the running boards and separate lights and everything else. So it was classed as a innovation at the time. Because in the late 40s, obviously, some of the cars still had running boards and, you know, there's separate lights at the front, you know, the old style. This changed all that. Right, it's very difficult to see this with the cream colour, but yeah, got the lights in the front there and everything else. So we're getting there with it. Excuse the dog, he's farting like a good one. Oh God, you stink, boy.
Martin.
Yeah, hold on a minute. Sorry about that, my missus was calling me. Right, where were we? Okay, we're just touching up these headlights. Yeah, it's a bit, I can see it, but on camera it's a little bit awkward. To the cream on here. So we've got the little side lights done, we've got the headlights done, we've got the front bumper done. Okay, now I'm going to do the centre light now. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you the colour, didn't I? It's like an old English white, like more of like an ivory come white. This one, quite traditional in England at the time. I rather went for a light colour rather than a darker colour. I think it suits it. Gradually building up the paint in the middle there. It's a job to see it really, and against this background. Let me just move that out of the way. It might help if I just chuck this down a little bit. It might give you, you might be able to see it. I've got to be careful. I turn this round and behind. I've got the silver paint. And you can't really see it very well there. You'll probably see it when it's done anyway. Right, where were we? Yeah. Yeah, add like a star effect on this, so we've got to be careful here. We don't want to overdo it. That's one bit. You don't want many cups of coffee while you're doing this, because you'll be all over the place. So avoid coffee for detail painting. Oh, missed a bit underneath there. Yeah, the poster's a bit slow at the minute, and I ordered some paint a while ago. It's not here yet. So I'm using this. It's quite nice. It's not bad, but it's a bit thin. It's more for airbrushes. Than this sort of work. Excuse the silence, I'm concentrating. There. It's all right. But that'll do. I might just give it another touch up in places. The headlights around what it's doing. A bit better than that. There you go. That's better. You see that? Right. I'm going to go and carry on with this. There's a bit there, what it's doing. Just on the top there. Perhaps see it a bit better. Right, okay, I'm going to knock this on the head and I'll carry on and I'll get back to you when it's all done. That's it then. Details are all done. Some number plates on it. It is difficult to see in this light. Number plates on there. Door handles. Rear plates. Rear backlights. These are only small backlights on the back. They're landscape type of things. Yeah. Now, what I've done with the hubs, I've tried. This is only a first attempt. I've tried to like make hubcaps because, you know, on these, some of these Dinkies have got like an extra ridge. So I tried to make like a hubcap by painting that silver. Or you could do it with a chrome pen, but I think you do it with a chrome pen, you've got to do the rest with a chrome pen because it'll look odd. So yeah, it's only a first attempt. It wasn't great, but you know, it works on there. Okay, new tyres on, so now we'll get some rivets in it. It shouldn't take a minute to do this. Let's get her in the right place. Front axle just drops in. No problemo. Slide that in the front. Drop that down the back. Bit of super duper. In there. Reverse tweezers. We'll see how this goes. Drop that in. I think a bit too much glue in that one. Spin around. Here we go. Right. Let's get it on the magic roundabout and see what we got. This is what we started with. Overpainted, play worn, chipped. most of the details have been filled in. So this is what we started with. And now, this is what we finished up with. Here we have it then, all completed. Back together on the magic roundabout. Rover 75. Cyclops. Yep. Quite nice, this one. Yeah, I've done a few bits different. I've done the hubcaps. I don't know if I'll do them again. I don't know. It was an experiment. It's okay. You really need to have a good... If you're going to do hubcaps, you really need a definite... I might try using a bit of a circle template. Yeah, got the Cyclops front end there with a light in the middle. Number plates, handlebars, door handles. Yep, that's another one. That's another one done. So, there you go, folks. All is left to say now is onwards and upwards and on to the next one. Now we're into another lockdown. Again. Until February this time, I think. Sometime in February. So, there you go. Right. Wish everybody well. And we'll see you next week. Bye for now.